Hi there, and welcome to another episode on Let's Talk Wellness with Shalini. The vision of this podcast is to empower you with knowledge on holistic wellness and self care. My name is Shalini. I'm a corporate technology professional, I'm a yoga and meditation instructor, a health coach, and a Reiki healer. Today, I'm very excited to welcome our second international guest speaker from a place very close to me and my heart, that is Dubai, and also a place where I grew up. Today I have Fernanda Doria with us, and the topic is Healing Beyond Cancer, a journey to balance, wellness, and purpose. Fernanda is an integrative wellness and life coach. Her vision is to guide you through transformative self-care for balance and fulfillment in mind, body, and spirit. With first-hand experience of struggles and setbacks that accompany chronic illness, she brings a unique approach to coaching, along with sharing her journey with us. So welcome, Fernanda.
Thank you so much, Shalini. I'm so grateful to be here and super excited to share my journey and anything about the coaching that I do.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm sure it's warm and nice in Dubai today.
Yes.
It's morning.
Yeah, it's morning and the weather is perfect now. Finally, the summer here is over. And now we can actually go outside and enjoy. So
yeah, I know. I think going outside there is like 70, 80 degrees maybe is what you're talking about, Fahrenheit, because here it's raining and winter has begun.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, because winter here is kind of like summer in a European country or something like that, right? So
exactly. Yes, you're right. All right. So today, this is a very interesting topic, I'm sure, to a lot of people. So I think if you can just start, take us to the beginning of, just your healing journey and how did, you even notice signs of health issues that started in your teenage years?
Right. So I've been pretty much living all my life outside of Brazil. Okay. So I've only lived there when I was like between 5 years old to 10 years old. So when I was 10, we moved to China, right? And for me, that was quite a shock. And I remember I would start to feel a little bit of nausea right before we were moving. And then eventually, okay, that was fine. I mean, I went through like a whole 2 years trying to adapt there. And then when I was teenager, around 14 years old, I had like consistent nausea all the time, and that really affected my studies. Like I would skip school and my parents started to take me to doctors. They couldn't find anything. And they're like, okay, let's take you to a psychiatrist. And they actually diagnosed me with generalized anxiety disorder. And they gave me medication. And for me, that was already super frustrating because for some reason, like since a young age, I've always liked natural. Like I didn't like medicine. And I've always been quite natural for that. And so that was very frustrating time in my journey, also because when you're a teenager, you want to fit in, you want to be normal, right? And I really I just didn't feel normal. Like, why is this happening to me? And eventually, yes, the medication did help me in terms of I was able to go to school and everything. I did see a psychologist, but the medication kind of numbed me not to feel. So I didn't really learn how to process emotions and how to feel. Anyway, now going forward to when I was 19 years old, I started to develop chronic constipation. And that went on for 9 years. So it's a long, I'm not embarrassed to tell my story. It's okay.
Right.
But that's a long time to be constipated, And I had to take laxatives. I was very dependent on it. So until 7 years of my journey, around 7 to 8 years of my journey, I started to educate myself. So I would read a lot of books on nutrition, watch documentaries and everything. Eventually, I realized I started to listen to my body a little bit, and I realized that I was sensitive to gluten and dairy. And once I removed those completely from my diet and refined sugars, I literally, like, I healed myself. Like, I felt so much better. I didn't need medication. So, this teaches us a lesson that there is hope. Like 9 years, I thought I would be the rest of my life like that. But no, like, we can heal ourselves, right?
Yeah. I think our body amazes us, right? I mean, there's just so much healing power. I think we just need to discover that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So
that's my
then how,
teenage years. Sorry. Yeah.
gotcha. Sorry. Yeah. So then how did your initial diagnosis with, Hodgkin's lymphoma, how did that happen, right? And also how did that impact you emotionally? And I guess what were even the first steps you took?
Right. It's crazy. So 2021 was a crazy year. Actually, there was COVID 2020, right?
Exactly. Yep.
I was stuck in Brazil during that time in 2020. And even I found out like my brother had a tumor in his brain. So that
Oh my
was
gosh.
like very challenging for me, right? But he's all good now. They removed it. He's healthy. But I went back to China 2021 and I started to feel some symptoms like some pain in my chest and things like that. But I was completely ignoring it. And I was also not enjoying my job at that time. So I was really just trying to like get through it. I wasn't married to my husband yet. So I did depend on the job for a visa and everything like that. And then we decided to move to Dubai. Like a great opportunity came for him and we moved to Dubai. And actually, right before moving, I got married. Okay, so a lot of things. So,
Oh,
yeah. So, like, I got married, moved to Dubai, and then I got here and I was like, okay, I need to start looking for a job. But I had like this chronic cough and it was just horrible. Like, I could barely speak. And I was so stubborn to go to the doctor because I just like ignored it. I was like really ignoring it. Maybe it was fear as well, of course, of finding out something. And then when I went to do my visa for when you go to Dubai to get a visa, you need to do a checkup,
yep.
like X-ray.
Yep.
So I found out, and I was completely shocked. Like I had just turned 30 as well, gotten married, moved countries, and then boom, like you have cancer. So I was shocked. I was angry as well. And I think most of all, I was really afraid. Like, that was, I mean, you don't expect, maybe you expect like a bronchitis, I don't know, something else. So I was really
Yeah,
surprised. And the first thing I did was call my family in Brazil, like my parents.
sure.
And
Yep.
that, like, they came here within 2 days. Like, I can tell you, I think that was like the number one thing that helped me was support from my husband, my family, and my friends, even though they were far away.
Gotcha. So at what stage was it when it was diagnosed?
It was stage 2, and so I had like pretty much like a mango size on my chest, and it was also start. So it's funny, like because I had it here, like growing on my neck, but when they told me the news, it grew like so fast. So you can see that like fear can also, make cancer grow faster, right? So it was, yeah, it
Wow.
was, yeah, quite
I
big
know.
news. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned like feeling you had, no control over the situation initially, right? So how, I mean, I guess, did you approach health or even just life differently through this experience?
Yeah, so the first thing I did because I knew that like nutrition was very important and I was never really consistent with it. I started like juicing in the morning and cutting out like anything that was very processed. And also, like, I started to walk a bit more, like, try to do some movement.
Mm.
I went to homeopathic doctor as well to get their opinion. They did
Hmm.
tell me that I should do conventional just because it was like very big. It was like
Sure.
pressing, my trachea, everything like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I still felt like I could control some aspects of it because I was still taking some like herbs. I don't know, neem powder is very famous in
Right.
India, right? So I was taking that every day with turmeric.
Okay.
Yeah, to kind of like protect me. I would believe it would protect me from like the chemotherapy and radiation, right?
Sure.
And a lot of juice. Also, I control, like, what I could control was the way I was thinking. So
Yeah.
before I started chemotherapy and radiation, I was totally against it. Like my mindset was like, it's either this or that. Like, like very, oh, I only want natural. And I had to change that. I started to see it as like, no, I can use both together. Conventional medicine is not all that bad, because sometimes you watch documentaries that are very negative towards
Exactly.
conventional medicine, right? But actually, it does save a lot of lives. And especially for the cancer that I had, like, I'm grateful. It's not like I'm not grateful for having cancer, but this type of cancer, the chemo kind of like melts it away, right? And the
Yes.
radiation also helps.
Correct. Yeah. No, I think, gosh, I don't know. Kudos to you, because I'm sure that takes a lot of resilience and strength, right? I mean, just to even get through that journey and that phase. So I think just, more power to you.
Thank
And
you.
I'm so happy that, you're healthy, you're here, you're feeling much better.
Thank you.
And so I think, yeah, I mean, I would love to know. I mean, obviously, after that diagnosis, right? I mean, you obviously went through the whole process. And I'm sure at some point you started going more into self-discovery, trying to figure out how, you can get help or recovery in your own hands, right? And what was that journey like? Or when did you make that?
Well, so in the beginning of the journey, right, when I first started getting treatments, I thought it was all about nutrition, movement, only the outside treat the symptoms. And then I remembered I had met an energy healer. Her name is Stella. I'm very grateful for her in China, right? When I started to kind of be interested in this more spiritual journey. And I contacted her. I told her what was going on, and I wanted her to help me, like, to heal the symptom from a spiritual, maybe emotional point of view, right? But for me, it was all about the symptom. I was not looking at other things that maybe were impacting in my life, or that maybe was stored in my body or whatever. And so it was through these sessions, and also a lot of like reading, watching things, Gaia, right? I don't know if you've heard of Gaia. Yeah, I love it. Really getting into that I was like, it's much more than just trying to do something physically, right? So that's when the journey really started, and especially after my treatment, because during all the treatments, you're kind of like focusing on getting through it, right? You're not really, yeah, you just want to get through it, survive,
Yep.
do the best you can.
Yes.
So it was after
Yes.
it that I was really starting to reflect, like, what am I going to do with my life? I was in the hospitality industry, right? And I'm like, what do I need to change? And start to ask myself these questions. So it changed. Maybe I started a journey from like, why is this happening to me? Why me, right? It's always that question, why me? Because,
Yep.
but that's actually not the best question to ask yourself. It's more about what can I do to move forward and be better and healthier. And I can tell you right now, I actually feel healthier than before cancer. Although, okay, it took me 2 years to get to this, but still, that's a journey, right?
Yep.
And I will tell you, after the treatments, I cried for like every day for 3 months. Just like, watching a movie, something that triggered cancer, just smelling the hospital that I used to go to, like things like that. I was just like cry and everything, but it was so healing. It was so healing. It's like it dissolved something that was maybe energetically in me, like that. It was dissolving it. So my tumor was physically dissolved, and this was let's just say energetically, I was dissolving something that was probably, it had to come out, right? For
Yes,
3
of
months.
course.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, I guess through this whole journey, I mean, I'm sure just resilience, endurance, I can just list so many things that you would have gone through, right, in this whole journey. So if you had to, tell the audience or anybody listening or even going through this right now in their own life, I mean, what would be like maybe three things, right, you would give as just tips from a lifestyle, just from any changes you made when you were going through the whole process?
Right. So listen to your body. Listen to your body. This is like being inside your body. Like just be aware of like the senses, what you're feeling. Not to be fearful of it, but just really to be connected. Don't ignore what you're feeling. A lot of times, physical symptoms are trying to tell you something, right? They're trying to sell you something. It's very interesting. I have this book. I'm not trying to sell this book. It's not mine, right? But it's called The Secret Language of Your Body. Or also you have the book by Louise Hay, right? Heal Your Body. And you can see some symptoms that will connect you, like what's going on inside me that maybe is causing this symptom, right? Also, another thing that I would recommend is like meditation, visualization. Like this is super important because that will help you to listen to your body. You will become more aware. I know sometimes it can be very hard to meditate, but just start slowly. Even if you do like 3 minutes, close your eyes, breathing, because it's such a simple thing, but I think a lot of us breathing properly right nowadays. So this is really important. And also, I mean, there are many tips I can give, but like mindset shifts as well. Watch what you're saying to yourself, the conversation you're having with yourself, the thoughts. This really impacts. Like I used to think that my body was never working for me, and that was a huge belief, because since young I felt these symptoms. I think I'm like, I'm never gonna be healthy. I'm not healthy. But imagine you tell yourself that every day, right? So to change that language, and even though it may be difficult in the beginning, it's like, oh, I'm saying this, but it doesn't feel true. Once you repeat it, you keep repeating, you start to believe it. So this is like something that really changed.
No, I totally
my life.
believe in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now so many people talk about manifestation, right? I mean, positive mindset. So I think what you talk to yourself, right? I think that's just so important because I think self-talk, right, either helps you go forward or you're going backwards, right?
Right.
There's only two things you can do.
Right. Yeah,
So
exactly.
you help yourself. Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Like 100%. This is like something you work on every day. I consider like meditation, this kind of thing. It's like brushing your teeth, taking shower, like it's something, but it's something I want to do. I choose to do, right? These are the words. It's not like I should do or I have to do, but it's like I choose to do it because it makes me feel good. It brings balance into my life. So,
Yep. Yeah. So after that, I guess, what was that transition or tipping point when you decided to become, an integrative like health and wellness coach?
right. So it's kind of funny because if you ask me like, oh, 7 years ago, would you ever have considered that you would be a coach? I'm like, no way. Like I thought I did hospitality. How do you call it? Like I got a diploma in that, so I can only do that, right? But through the journey, after my journey, I start to think, what am I gonna do? I thought about like health coach because I love the physical part. But then something about my journey really pulled me towards this integrative part, right? To look at everything. Because if I tell you, like, I used to follow, I follow my husband since I met him, which was 22 years old. And I was ignoring my passion or my purpose. I was just like, oh, I'm following him, even though I love him to bits and I would still follow him, right? Right, but I'm following him. I need to get the visa, so whatever job comes, it's there, right? And it was like Asia, places like Thailand, Indonesia, China. So it was hard for me as a foreigner at my level to get a job, right? And I just kept ignoring that. So when I went through this whole journey, it was kind of like I don't want to say a slap in the face in a bad way, but it's like, wake up, wake up.
Wake up
You
call.
need
Yep.
to follow your purpose. And it
Yes.
was so strong, this fire that came through me. So yeah, that's what led me to integrative wellness and life coach, because that looks at all areas of your life. So instead of just looking at one problem, we're going to look at the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual aspects of your life, because they're all interconnected. They all affect one another. If you are, I mean, I'm not a nutritionist or a doctor, but let's just say you're deficient in some vitamins or something like that, that could be impacting your mental, right? Or maybe your mindset is impacting your relationships and so on. So it's all interconnected. And this type of coaching, so when you look at all these parts and you get to the root causes, it's very transformative and like in a sustainable way. So you sustain these results, right? You can't go back to who you were.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. And so did you do this coaching? Like, was this online? Was it there, like in person in Dubai?
So I did it online.
Online.
It's from the US, taught by
Got it.
Dr. Rachel.
Okay.
Yeah, Rachel Eva. And yeah, I loved it. I really loved it.
Nice.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. So I'm assuming basically you run your business there, you're have clients, right, that you're basically working with on life coaching. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. So I do virtually. So I do have clients here and also like around the world. The great thing about Dubai is we're like kind of in the middle. So,
Yes. Yes.
right, I
Yep.
can, anywhere you are, we can try to find a time to talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. So typically what kind of, clients, right? What kind of issues do they come with? I'm just curious, like maybe high level, but just what kind of themes or concerns?
A lot of the themes are like they're feeling lost. I feel like a lot of people right now are feeling lost. They're feeling this heavy energy. They're feeling very low energy, not much motivation, and also lack of clarity. Like to make that decision, to know what they want to do, right? So a lot of the clients, I would say, I think all is just lacking that clarity, that intuition to take decisions. Yeah.
Got it. Awesome. So you basically break that down, work with them, and look at everything holistically, right? Because, like you said, integrative
Yes, right. So
wellness.
like the first session, how we do is like you go into a deep self-discovery. I get to know the
Got it.
person well, but it's also really about them getting to know themselves, because once you start to get it out and put it on paper and everything, you really like, oh, I didn't realize I do this or do that or think like this, right?
Exactly. Right.
And then the second session usually is about making the wellness action plan divided into these systems of their life. And from then on, we can have sessions, we can do like meditation, visualization, regression. I have emotional clearing methods. So many things that can work the subconscious. It's important to work the subconscious and also take action. So both at the same time will bring you sustainable results. Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. So I think as we get closer to, just concluding the episode, so if obviously someone here who's listening, right, or someone who's battling, a major health condition, or maybe even just through cancer, what would be, maybe one thing that you would tell them?
To start seeing yourself, appreciating yourself, and listening to your body. I think that's huge. I would like to add though, like a little thing, because sometimes we take this journey very seriously, but it's also like have fun, enjoy, have a laugh. Don't be so tough on yourself. Although it is very important to like eat healthy and things, you do need to find that balance where you're like happy as well, that you're not stressed, because if you stress over it, and that's something I did, we all learn from it. If you stress over it in the beginning, like I was juicing like 1 liter of juice, I swear, I think now I can't even drink 1 liter, but kind of forcing things, it's best not to do that. So like enjoy, have fun, be with people, like your friends, family, community. That's so important. Actually, I would say that's even number one. Is out of all of it, I would say that's number one. if I didn't have my family, my friends, even my dog that I got when I had cancer, he's the love of my life. I think he also helped me heal, At all these things, yeah, they're super important. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that because I know, I'm just kind of going through my health coaching training, right? And they talk about integrative nutrition. And one of the things they talk about is primary foods. And we talk about primary foods, it's four things, right? So one is relationships. They talk about movement. They talk about, career because of financial independence. And then they talk about spirituality, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So definitely the number one thing was relationships. So when you said community, it's clearly one of the most important things. And if you look at, the happiest country in the world, Finland, right? Research basically shows, and even just a study there, which is they just have a great community around them, right? They trust people, they trust neighbors, they can just go out, have a conversation. So it's like this huge community that they all live in, right? It feels like a family.
Yeah,
So
100%. I think that would be like number one. If I think it came now. I'm sorry, I didn't. It's not
yes,
something I mentioned. I mentioned a little bit, but it's actually I think the most important.
yeah, yep,
Yeah, along with
totally.
other
No,
things. But yeah.
yeah, no, totally agree. So I think, Fernando, I think we're gonna just, at that time to conclude. So I would love for you to tell the audience where they can find you or reach out to you.
Right. So you can find me on Instagram. So Fernanda Doria underscore coach or my website, fernandadoria.com. I also do have the Facebook. I think it is Fernanda Doria's underscore coach. I'm not sure exactly, but it will be on my link tree on Instagram. So there are many ways you can contact me, and I'm very open, like to talking to anyone who needs help. It's really my passion and purpose.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking this time. And, I just have to say, I am just, so happy that you've, gone through this journey. You've come out strong. You're coming out to help the community, to help others around you, and just bring them awareness and share your experiences. I think that takes a lot of courage. So I just want to say I'm really proud of you and I thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much, Alini. I really appreciate you for having me and for showcasing this to everyone and trying to spread this to the whole world.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for being here. Thank you.